first 2 challenges, and then I nodded off, which is what I always do, and I always miss the showstopper.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at probably about 2 this morning, and I thought, I'll do my Natasha Makes work like I do, and I put it on in the background so I could listen. So I'm going to watch it again, but I heard all the showstopper and what happened, and glanced here and there, but
yes,
well,
controversial.
No one put any spoilers in the chat, please, because it's not fair on those who did what I did and fell asleep and missed it. But good morning, hello.
Hi.
We love a bit of Bake Off, don't we, Jane?
I do, I love it.
I would love Jane to go on Bake Off, but she's not allowed.
Classed as a professional.
You are classed as a professional. Tell them why, Jane.
Because
everyone knows.
I'm fully trained baker confectioner.
You are?
Yes, that was what I was going to do.
That's why she always makes the fabulous birthday cakes.
I love baking.
If Jane doesn't make your birthday cake and you get one from the shop, then you're secretly a bit sad. I mean, you're grateful to Natasha for being generous and buying one, but it's like, because Jane makes a beautiful cake.
Oh, thank you, Gemma.
Absolutely beautiful, she does. We've got other beautiful things for you today, though, however. It's our plain subscription show, and Jane's been a bit busy doing this.
Yeah.
Haven't you, Jane?
I had really good fun with that. It's a very straightforward, quick make, swiveling.
It's really effective. I love it.
So I had a bit of time to play with the quilting on it, which is always nice. It's not perfect, but it's a nice effect.
I'm not sure how much of the quilting everyone can see, but I've put an image up on the product page so that you can see the quilting that Jane's done.
I just did random curves, so I've got sort of followed the lines here.
Yeah.
Doing a curve, and it's very free hand curving. I didn't mark it or anything, so some of them are a bit wobbly. But then I just, in each block, I've tried to do it a different way, but some of them have come the same way. But it's actually sort of given it a wave effect.
It's lovely.
It's quite random.
Now, I get a bit scared of the whole curve thing because I think it's going to end up looking a mess. But what I've observed with this, Jane, is that you've started at a point.
Yes.
And you might not necessarily have worked to another point, but you've gone down. There's a start and a finish, and they start and finish with a point.
It's quite nice because you've got seam lines to follow. So like this one, that's sort of like the unit within the block. So I just did a curve from corner to corner in that unit, and then stepped it up to the next corner on there.
Yes.
And then I've got a seam here that I followed, and then again that unit. So it's 4. I try to keep it equidistant. Some of them aren't, some are wobbly, some look a bit straight.
But that gives some fluidity to it.
Yeah, the overall effect has come quite nice.
Really nice. Really nice.
I mean, if I was going to do it again, I probably would mark out the curves on it.
Yeah.
Because I'd want it a bit more uniform. But actually, I quite like the irregularity of it.
I like it too, and it's made me realise actually that when I think about free motioning or anything that's got any kind of curve to it or anything like that, I worry that there's nowhere to stop and I've just got to keep going and it's going to run away with me. But with this, that's the one thing I saw straight away was even here, you've gone curve
and
up,
this is all done with my
curve round.
Walking foot as well.
Yeah.
So there's none of that like panic.
It's running away with me.
I think sometimes when you do free motion and you're doing it for the first time, you panic about your stitch length and how fast you need to go, whereas your walking foot will give you that consistency of like
all of that.
Your general sewing, and so you can do nice gentle curves with your walking foot.
Everywhere.
Yes.
You can do a curve and then you can stop and just pause for a minute and go, all right, okay, I've done that one. Where am I going next?
Yes.
And you don't have to be constantly thinking, I don't know where the pattern goes next, which is what I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm OCD, aren't I? So it's super.
Well, I think we're all a bit guilty of it as well, and feeling that it's a bit over-facing when you've got a big quilt to try and to do with free motion all over.
No, it's great.
But I mean, you could equally do this with straight lines. You wouldn't have to do it with a curve. You could just go straight in your points again. So, if you don't like a curve or you don't feel confident, but you're okay with your straight line quilting, you could do straight lines on that, no problem. Follow even parallel lines following the strips.
Yes.
It's what,
Or if you want to get really schmancy, if you are getting more involved with, free motioning and things like that, you've got plenty of places, whether you choose your colour blocks or your grey blocks, to
have a play.
Really get play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you could really get quite detailed in your little grey blocks and leave your plain ones to pop.
I think sometimes when you've got quite a bold contrast fabrics and it's quite a simple design, your quilting can be what makes the quilt.
Well, when we went to Festival of Quilts, Jane, there were entire quilts that were white.
Yes,
the whole
quilts,
quilt was white. But when you looked at the blocks, the difference in each block of they'd quilted each one differently.
Yes.
And the texture it gave and the effect was just stunning.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, there's a lot to be said for our planes, I feel.
Yes.
There's a lot to be said. But this one here is made using 8 quarter-metres, and you'll talk a little later when you do your demo about fat quarters versus long quarters
Yes.
and what have you. But 8 quarter-metres of colour. So it could be that it's this month bundle that you like, or it might be that you want to make this quilt using a different colour palette.
I was going to say you've got
previous bundles
the
there.
previous bundles would
Yeah.
work equally as well. Because it's sort of an ombre,
Yeah.
it will work with anything. And, you know, if you've got the blues or the teals, a white background colour would look lovely. It would really pop it. Some of the reds and the golds, yellows, a black background fabric would make it look
Amazing.
stunning.
Yeah, amazing.
So, you know,
That warmth with the black, it's
you've got
brilliant,
all
yeah.
your colour palettes so far. I mean, I think we've done all the colours. I think we're coming up to the
We are
greys and the
coming up to
blacks
the
and then the
last ones,
neutrals, aren't we?
yeah.
So, you know, I think you've had all the bold colours that we have in stock so far
Yes.
with this last bundle.
So all we've used here is that bundle,
Yeah.
and we have, like we say, all the different colour bundles, and then your plain, and you can choose your own plain. Jane here's used silver,
Yeah.
but you could choose a different plain. You might want white, you might want black, you want whatever. You know, you could
Yeah.
choose something completely different. But the plain, you needed how much, Jane?
1.5
1.5.
metres, and that did my binding as well.
Brilliant.
Because I didn't use all of the long quarter, and I'll explain about that later as well,
Okay.
because obviously you can make it bigger if
'Cause
you wanted
cut long
to.
quarters off our bolts.
Yes.
Because that's less stolen from the
Yes,
fabric of the
yeah.
bolts, and that's fine, and we'll talk about the differences with that as well. But we better see who's around and who wants to say hello to us, Jane. I
Yeah, we could be
feel.
talking to ourselves.
Also, we need to have a little sneaky peek at the back of this quilt because I don't know if we can.
Yes, we can. We can pull it up.
Because Jane's used our onion rings fabric, which we thought we'd run out of, Jane.
And then I found
And
some.
then we found some, although I'm not entirely sure how much is on there. It's a tiny skiddly
There's
bit,
about
Jane.
2 metres on there, so
Ooh,
fastest fingers first, I
it
think.
really is fastest fingers first, but let's see who is around. She says, I hope I can get it to load quick. Bear with. Here we
We're
go.
here.
Morning, Jane and Gemma, says Jenny Totterdale, Rona Milne, Jane Vivash, Pam Minehane. They're all here, you know. They're
Good
all
morning,
saying hello to us.
everyone. It's lovely to know you there.
Joy Hall's with us, as is Jimmy. Good morning, Jimmy. And
Morning, Jimmy.
Evelyn as well. Joy said good morning to Jimmy as well. Very
Yes.
nice. I love how everyone's chatting.
I love it.
Oh, your mother's around. She says, here, miss.
Morning,
Hi,
Mum.
Kate. And where are we? Where are we? It's scrolled again. It jumps, you see.
It flips backwards and forwards, doesn't it?
Jenny Totterdale says, would With be a great one for a Baptist fan? I feel like
Yes.
what a Baptist fan
Baptist fan is the quilt design.
Okay.
So
Nice.
pretty much like I've done,
Yeah.
but slightly different and all going the same way.
Ooh, yeah, that would be beautiful.
So yes, it would look, the quilting pattern would work really
Nice.
well.
I have so much to learn. I am the sorcerer's apprentice, you see. We've been trying to decide. I've always said I'm a beginner, and Jane and I were discussing the other day, and she's like, improver, which is nice.
Yes, definitely.
My camp piece, I've just stayed in my comfort zone. And that's the brilliant thing about a lot of what you're putting together, Jane, is it just pushes you to do something slightly different.
Yeah, I like to
and try a little bit more.
let you know that there are other things that you can try, and there's nothing wrong with staying in your comfort zone and getting things done, because the most important thing is to get things finished, I
is.
think. I mean, I'm guilty. I've got lots of bags of half-finished projects because I got halfway through and thought, I don't actually like this very much anymore. So,
Give me a quilt,
you know,
basis, Jane.
one of these days I'll be going through those bags and trying to finish off projects. Probably find I haven't got enough fabric, or I've used some of the fabric for something else, because I'm guilty of
But,
that
you know,
as well.
when you're someone like me who looks and thinks, oh, I really wish I could do that, there's nothing to say I can't. I've just in here told myself I can't.
Exactly.
And the beautiful thing is that you do push and say, come on, improve a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, most of the
Otherwise I'll
quilts.
stay in the beginner category forever.
Most of the quilts I do are simple units that create lovely blocks. I don't,
This is a classic
I
example
can do
of that, isn't it?
more complicated things, but I tend not to. I tend to keep it as straightforward as I can, because it comes together quickly as well.
You do a grand job. Martin's with us. Good morning, Martin. And Wendy as well. Oh, wow. So on Monday, Wendy was saying that daughter's bunny, who's 10 years old, had got to go to the vet for the first and possibly last time.
Oh no.
But she's saying, back home hopping around in her run.
Oh,
I'm
that's good
so
news.
excited
That's
about
good news.
Oh, gosh,
Yes.
so relieved to hear. Oh, with these furries, they're so
Oh, I know.
love
They're
them so
just,
much.
well, they're family members, aren't
Dear
they?
me. Oh, Karen's with us as well. She says, hi, girlies. She went to Morrison's yesterday, no doubt.
I
Hi,
know,
Karen.
looking fabulous. I saw the pictures.
Yes.
Stunning, as always.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jane. She says, I'm guessing your mic is still not working properly, Gemma. Not hearing your dulcet tones quite as clearly as I'd like. I'm using my big voice. So, yes, I'm on guest mic today.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
more loudly spoken
if
than
I was
Jane.
having my guest mic today, you'd not hear me at all. I've got
You've
Natasha's
got presenter
mic,
haven't you?
which
is
is
what I normally
louder.
wear on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Josh is coming in after the show to have a play with these mics and see. We've tried all sorts of troubleshooting over the phone. He's adjusted things. So my mic was at minus 60 decibels or something ridiculous. He's turned it up so it's a little bit tinny and sounds like I'm in a well. But you should still hear what I'm saying. Whereas Jane's mic's lovely and clear.
Yeah, I've got the presenter mic today, so I'm booming.
We've tried a different wire with a different mic on the end of it. It's not that. We're not sure if there's some tech issue that's gone on and some balance that's out. But he's coming in today. We haven't seen him for ages, have we?
No, it'll
We'll
be
take him
lovely
to
to
the
see
calf.
him. Yes, it will be lovely to
That'll
see
be one
him.
of the first calls will be the calf.
Yes.
It always is. Anyone who visits here. Faye Thompson Wright says morning Jane and Gemma. Vicky says morning both. And Julia and Becky says love the colours. I can't wait for my subscription to arrive. Those of you that do subscribe, your payments go out on the 4th and then they'll be dispatched as soon as those payments are processed. They'll be going out the door. They are packed. Packed and ready to go, aren't they?
They are.
Done it.
Yes.
Packed, labelled.
We've
ready to
been
go.
super organised this time.
We have. We have.
Yes. We got what, to the 11th, 10th one? We've
No.
got ourselves organised.
They've been there for like over a week, all packed and ready and labelled and everything. I feel very smug. It's almost like Natasha's not been around and we've been
Yes,
what
distracting
can
us.
we do while she's not around? Oh, Jenny says, I've been making quilt tops all summer. Now need to get on and quilt them. I have 10 plus waiting for quilting. Have you been looking in my room as well? Because that sounds
Oh,
like
I know,
me.
we're all guilty of that, aren't we?
Oh, dear. And Jimmy's got a placemat top done today that needs quilting.
Well done.
Lovely.
Well
It's
done.
nice to see. I'll check YouTube as well, make sure that everyone's there, because, we don't want to be ignoring YouTube. You mean a lot to us also. Just doesn't load quite as nicely, which is a shame. Oh, here we go. Marie says, hi from Sunbury, Victoria, Australia.
Oh, hello.
And Cynthia's as well. She's around. She says, greetings. What fun-looking quilt. Walking foot quilting is just my speed.
I think, you can get some really lovely effects with your walking foot.
Yes.
And I think people just think it's only there for straight lines, and it isn't really.
Nope.
And you can get beautiful effects just with straight lines. So, don't dismiss it.
No,
Straight
definitely.
line walking foot quilting can give you just as stunning effects.
Yes, it really can.
And, Jenny from Missouri Star, she says, finished quilt is a good quilt.
And John always says the same as well,
Yeah.
doesn't he? He says, it's better to be finished than perfect.
Exactly.
That's absolutely right.
It'll keep you a lot warmer when it's finished than it would do if it was just the flimsy.
Well, this is so true. My husband was saying, I'm going to put the little heater out of the caravan in the office and we don't have to heat the whole house. He said, but I am getting a bit chilly. And I said, you're not seeing we've got blankets. We've got quilts. And I thought, hang on, a lot of those quilts aren't quilted. I've gifted the ones that are quilted.
This is what happens, isn't it?
So,
Yeah.
yes, I do need to crack on. I've got my my candy medallion quilt.
Yes.
I just need to back and bind and, all that.
Yeah.
And,
Does anybody think you were really, really busy?
Oh, absolutely. I've got nothing else to do, have I? Well, nothing to do. And I'm never doing anything, Jane,
No,
at all.
Absolutely not.
We have many beautiful things to show you today, so we're going to fly through them at top speed. Apologies. Sorry, not sorry.
There's some gorgeous things. We had a delivery in on Monday, Tuesday. Yes, was it yesterday?
Last week, and we had one at the beginning of this week.
Yeah.
And they have missed their slot. And this is the perils of buying fabrics 12 and 18 months in advance and being told that, Christmas in the crafting world, and I'm going to apologise to everyone who hates this, but it happens in July.
It does.
August at a push. Because we need to bring you the make, you need to be able to purchase it, have time for it to arrive, to make and have it ready for Christmas, is the theory.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're like me, you buy now for things you're going to make next year for next Christmas because the reality of it is that I need 18 months.
Well, the
Or
thing is,
12
Christmas
plus.
never goes out of fashion, does it? So
Quite. However, from a show perspective, for us to do Christmas shows now is, you know, it's tricky.
Yes.
And we will limit how many we do towards Christmas.
Absolutely.
We do some.
Yes.
We do some because we love
Yes.
Christmas. But crafting Christmas is generally July, August, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So when we get an entire range of fabric come in, we're like, oh, hang on. That's missed its slot. That was supposed to go into this slot here. And we plan our shows out 12 months in advance.
Yeah.
So when these arrived, I did a little bit of rude words. Just a little. But I also looked at these fabrics and I said, oh my word, Jane, I've never seen fabrics that would look more fabulous with one of your quilts that you've already done.
Yes, a pattern that we've already made.
I'm so excited, and I need you to just show me where we'd put all these fabrics for me to be able to make that quilt, because it was a quilt that you loved. It was a quilt that sold out in milliseconds before.
Yes, it
We
did.
then had to shenanigate together a slightly different colourway using a different fabric in there. That sold out in milliseconds as well. And I didn't get one, which I was really upset about. So
She's coveting the sample.
I
might
been
end up
coveting the
going
sample.
home
The
with
sample's
her.
here, which I'm clearly going to have to purchase. It's the most beautiful quilt. And irritatingly, I printed off the instructions so that we could show the instructions.
I have
you got
them.
your...
I've got my...
Oh, you've got
Now
your
this is printed on
not posh paper.
not our usual paper. So,
Non-posh paper.
because
Let's
it was
show
for me, and obviously we don't need it on the
There we go.
fabulous paper for me. It's a beautiful quilt. The fabric that we had at the time just lent itself lovely, and I really enjoyed making this quilt. It's rather...
It's just beautiful. And yeah, we did bicker about who might have this sample quilt.
Shall we go...
I'm just going to go white shot so we can
Let's
see.
see.
There we go.
So this was the Promenade tile
She
quilt.
says, you saw me press that
I
button,
did
Jane.
see you press the button. Promenade tile quilt. It's beautiful teals with the soft pink and lemon. We don't have any of this fabric left.
None.
Obviously the pattern's still there. It's a very straightforward block, using quarter square triangles and squares and half square triangles. So not a complicated pattern. And then it's bordered.
Yes.
Double bordered.
Yes.
Gives a lovely effect.
Yes.
So when Gemma said, this fabric's come in, and I wondered whether it would look good in the Promenade tile quilt. First of all, I said, which one's the Promenade tile quilt?
I make many quilts, Gemma. I don't remember
I
which
can't
one.
remember it.
And I said, my favourite quilt ever. The one that sold out in milliseconds.
And then I remembered.
The sort of
The cogs.
the conking noise
yeah,
happened at the back
it
of your
clicked
head.
in. It clicked in eventually. And I was like, oh yeah, I know. So we looked at these. Wonderful. I Believe in Angels, is it called?
It is I Believe in Angels by Bunny Hill Designs. Not Benny Hill Designs.
No. It's... So I made a block.
Which I love.
We've added a little bit of Lewis and Irene bumbleberries because it's called Wild Sage. It just picked up the greens, which we've chosen to have as the outside border.
Yeah, and these centre blocks and these little tiny bits of holly in the corner blocks here as well. And it
Now, if you'll just forgive me a moment, because I've got a load of bits that I've cut here that I was making. So our thinking was that you would make the blocks like so. So using these lovely fabrics. So we've used the, is it called Winter Rose? Or
Oh, it's got a very fancy schmancy name. Hang on.
large
All
berries
of
or
these
something.
fabrics are up by the half metre, by the way. So if you're looking on our Workshop Wednesday page or on our Watch Live page, you will see, if you scroll down past all our plains bundles, there they all are, in their beautiful festive but not too festive glory.
So,
floral could be used at any time.
I was going to
couldn't
say,
it?
this is a beautiful ditzy floral. It's got that lovely soft aqua colour with the pinky red, which is super. So I've used that for the middle of the block, and then I'm thinking you would use that as the outside border. Sort of brings it together very much. I'm trying to keep it very similar to the way that we did the colourways for the Promenade tile. So, and then we've got the spotty here, this lovely, I love this, I love red and teal.
Oh, Snowdot.
Snowdot, this is called. So I've used that in the half square triangles in the corners, and then I'm thinking you'd use that for your binding. So that would go against that there. I'm trying to sort of lay this out so you can see what I was thinking. We've then gone with the ivory again for the background fabric, because the little snow angels here, which are just stunning, are not white. They're this lovely soft white, which the ivory just works well with. And then I was thinking that we would use the candy canes for that skinny border that goes around the edge. And so then we would have another, excuse me, rooting through all these fabrics. I was going to put them all straight and in order, and then life got in the way. So then you would have that skinny border. And then we've got this beautiful gingham print.
Oh,
It's
no,
a gingham
this
print.
I'm very excited about.
It's not a gingham, it's a gingham print. So that one would be the one that we used for the sashing.
Jane and I have got a love affair with, well, polka dots and gingham, don't
Yes.
we? We're both similar in this way, but I just adore a gingham print. I think it's stunning. And this is just so soft. It's lovely.
So you would use this lovely soft gingham as your sashing. Now, in the pattern, there are little squares in between the blocks of sashing. So I brought the candy canes back in. So you would get that effect from your sashed blocks.
Lovely.
That's not quite the same, the right size, but it works for photographic reasons.
Well, you know.
So that's the layout. You've got, as I say,
really nice popping into each
Yeah.
corner, Jane. It looked great, does she, with her wafty sleeve.
so we've got this lovely floral, centre and wide border. We've got the wild sage, bumbleberries,
I'm playing now, Jane. I'm playing.
lovely. And then we've got the beautiful, and I think we all need to go close up for the angel
But
fabric.
yeah, I
Gemma.
think you do need to see that fabric close
I
up.
have just fallen in love with this. This is just so gorgeous.
She literally was cutting these kits and said, I just need to take a bit more fabric down because I'm having this and the gingham. And I know, you're kidding yourself, Jane, there'll be more today.
They probably will.
She had this and the gingham for the stash.
He's
I have
just
to
lovely,
say,
little snow angel. He's
your
got,
lovely Chris Cresswell's joined us.
yes.
Says, hi Jane and Gemma. I love that quilt pattern. I bought it, but I haven't got round to making it yet. Oh, that works beautifully. Will it be a kit? Oh, lovely. 4 messages on the bounce. 4.
Yes.
4. And I think that's justified.
Yes.
Yes, it is a kit.
We
It's
have put a
on
kit together.
page. What I've done, a lot of you have really got behind our Advent calendar and then the 12 days of Christmas, which incidentally, if anyone missed out on the 12 days of Christmas, we are looking at putting some more stock up for you. Let's see in the chat actually who missed out and is really upset about that,
Yeah.
because I'll see if I can get it live again.
So,
This here is a phenomenal deal. What we've done here is the fabric kit on its own should be $79.99. The instructions should be $7.99. I've bundled the two. I've taken £10 off the fabric kit and put the instructions in for free. So it's $69.99 for all of this fabric bundle, which is your quilt top and binding, isn't it, Jane?
yeah, it is, yeah.
And your instructions. So these won't hang around for long, but it's just a little something we wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean,
Because it is so beautiful.
we've cut the fabrics as per I've just described how I think it would look best laid out. That means that there isn't much scope for swapping things around. And you will see that on your pattern. You will see the quantities in the pattern. And you can always refer back to today to double check on what I've said. But you've got all your fabrics there, and there's nothing to stop you just putting a little note on your instructions which one fabric A is, which one fabric B is.
I've put that into the description
And I would
of the product.
recommend that you do that on your cutting instructions as well. Probably more so on your cutting instructions than on your quantities, because there's nothing worse than cutting the wrong one.
No. And for
Done
the purposes of you looking back at the show, which I know a lot of you do when you want to
10th of
do a
August
make.
it says on the pattern.
Yes, the demo of the actual quilt block and quilt was the 10th of August. But for the purposes of if you're looking this show back to find out which fabrics go where, your fabric A is your Heavenly Fleur Floral Roses, which is this here.
This one,
Okay. And
Which
the
is
that
that one
Jane
there?
shows, all the same.
Beautiful.
Fabric B is your Cotton Plain in Ivory.
which is there.
Okay. Your fabric C is your Snow Dots.
This one, which we've chosen for the binding as well. So if you didn't like the dotty
have.
binding, you would have to choose another fabric for
You
binding.
could buy yourself some plain if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It would just be, what, half a metre, or would it be a bit? Would it be
What size is the quilt?
it's, where are we?
Which size? 61 by 61. So,
Might need a little more.
yeah, I would get a metre just to be
Yeah.
on the safe side.
That's fine. And then two for your stash, which is good. Fabric D is our tiny check gingham.
Which is this one. Beautiful.
Okay, your fabric E, according to this pattern, is Angel Treats Novelty Candy Canes.
That one,
That's the one.
which is super. I love that. That's really cute.
Really lovely. Your fabric F is your Bumbleberries, and that is BB288 in Wild Sage. And fabric G, Novelty Snowman Angel. And fabric H is our Holly Bells Novelty.
Which is that one?
So those are your fabrics according to said pattern, in order, so you can sit with your pattern. And these shows, I should say, they stay here forever.
Yes.
So if you missed that, pause it, rewind.
Mistakes and all.
When you've got your pattern, you can watch this back and you can write next to it which fabrics we've allotted to wear. They're on the product page at the moment, but we can't leave our product pages up indefinitely, or it would just be a mass of sold out products, and it slows down the functionality of
The
the
website,
website
yeah.
as well. So SJ gets quite upset if we leave stuff up that's sold out. So that was our first super duper duper deal of the day.
And did you say you were sticking the instructions in
Yes,
there for free?
I know.
I mean, some of you will have the
fabric kit. But
have the
beautiful thing
instructions,
about
but
this as well, and I thought it's such a lovely kit and a lovely quilt that even if you've already got those instructions, what a lovely gift.
yeah,
If someone bought me those
absolutely.
quilt instructions and popped them into my Christmas gift, I'd be thrilled to bits to get quilt instructions for Christmas.
Yes,
So it's a nice thing to gift on, for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm just going to move
Just a
that
little
out of
extra
the
thing
way.
that I felt I could do, because the £10 was the most I could take off the fabrics. I really couldn't go any lower than that. So popping the instructions in as well, which, strictly speaking, Natasha didn't allow me to do, but I didn't ask, so better to ask for permission than, forgiveness and
Apologise.
permission,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't asked her, so I've done it anyway. The other thing we needed to show you, however, which some of you may have seen lurking behind us, young Jane has been busy here overnight. Very, very busy indeed. I'm going to go close up, Jane, because this needs to be seen close up.
Look at this.
Look at
It's
the little hoose.
got the wise men. It's got the shepherd with his sheep.
I love this.
It's
Jane.
got Mary Joseph and the baby, and it's got the little donkey. It is. I haven't got round to doing it all. It's a panel, pre-printed panel
It is.
with all the instructions on. No, I haven't sewn my Velcro. I've only stuck it on, so I just have to be careful as I open it.
There's one little line of stitching. That's all we've had time for so far, isn't it?
Yeah. So it opens out to be a play mat. So everything's inside
So lovely.
there. So you've got all the, and then I haven't got round to doing this, but you've got all the
I mean, anyone would think you'd have
all
to
the
drive all the way
characters.
home and then get back in this morning.
The
and then
sheep's
all
got
of
all
that.
the characters. It's got the angel Gabriel, it's got sheep, it's got camels.
I sprung this on Jane last night, everybody, so apologies that she hasn't been able to, wave a magic wand and have these ready. But you
Turn
can
it round
see,
so it's the right
you'll
way.
be doing this afterwards, won't you?
Yes.
You've
I just
already-
got to get it finished because now I've started. I'm like, I need to make
absolutely.
this.
She already said as she was skipping towards the studio with the little
It's
stable.
a donkey look.
This is mine. It's coming home with me.
These panels are lovely.
They
Now
are.
I can't say Stacey's surname.
No,
It's
I think it's
it's
supposed
like
to be
Ayetsi
yeah, I know.
Hushu. I can't say it, and I do apologise.
Sorry, Stacey.
All the instructions are on the panel. So again, this would be a lovely gift for a young sewer.
Yes.
They're not difficult to make.
No.
You will need, additional to the panel, you will need some of our Styleville Fix and some of our medium weight interfacing and some Velcro. You may already have that in your stash, but if you didn't have it in your stash, a metre of each of those and a pack of the Velcro. It's the narrower Velcro,
Yes.
five
20 millimetres, isn't it?
Yeah, 5/8 of an
was
inch.
what you said. And
yeah,
that's
well, it's because it's
treat.
American and it's all in inches. We have it in black. If you can get it in white, then
Also, just to mention that Velcro's a brand name.
yes,
What we stock is the hemline, and it's hook and loop tape.
yes, It's a bit like calling a pen a biro, isn't it?
Really is.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So just
Or
bear
a
that in
vacuum
mind.
cleaner, a hoover.
Mind you, I will have ours with Velcro. I already have. Look at that. It's almost like I thought about these things, Jane.
Yes. So
Almost
it's
like I thought
a
about it.
beautiful panel. Now, my only tip to you is cut each piece out as per the instructions. Don't go all gung-ho and cut everything out because you'll lose the numbered pieces because the numbers are on the outside. That's my only tip to you, really.
Okay.
It's very easy to follow. It's very straightforward. There's lots of diagrams on there.
Or get your organised little baggies. You know,
Yeah,
people have their
you
bags
can do
don't
that.
they, that they reuse and have numbered.
But this would be a
Use
look if you've got someone, a young person that's wanting to get into sewing, is, you know, doing sewing already. This would be a lovely project to do together with them.
those. And
Because
Jane,
it makes such a lovely thing, and it's the sort of thing that will come out year after year.
absolutely. Sorry, which wadding have you used? Did you use
I use
medium
Styleville
Styleville?
Fix, Styleville Fix,
Could
because
you?
it says on the instructions, a flexi foam one-sided fusible stabilizer,
Styleville Fix. That's
Styleville
what it
Fix.
is.
and a
Absolutely.
medium weight one-sided fusible stabilizer. So I use the hemline.
Which is our hemline medium weight. The only other thought I have, Jane, is whether you could use an interface, insulated wadding to get that lovely crunchy.
Yes, you could. That would
sound,
give
you
a
know,
nice,
like you do.
yeah, it would.
I love a bit of insulated wadding. I use it for all sorts of things.
But it
makes
just
a fabulous noise.
once you've got the people and the creatures made, you see, they all live inside the stable.
What a
So it's a
beautiful gift.
great thing to have for a little, you know, make for a little person for their as a Christmas, or even a pre-Christmas gift, so that they can learn the story of
Advent gift for
Christmas.
sure.
Yeah,
You know, we give an advent calendar, but actually this would be a lovely thing. And
Yeah,
then
they
to be
could
enjoyed
bring
all the
out-
way through December.
bring out the characters each day until they've got baby Jesus to come, because he's on here.
Trying to get back in close-ups.
He's here somewhere. I've
Bits
seen
and
him.
bobs. There it is.
I might have left him in the workroom. Oh no, he's there. Look, there's the baby Jesus.
And
The star
Jane,
of the
you're
show.
probably cringing at me with the close-up cam because you have had to throw this together at ridiculous high speed. I
Yes,
apologise.
the pressing
Show you,
leaves
there
a lot
we
to
go.
be
There's
desired.
the baby. There he is.
There he is.
Gorgeous. Just so lovely. So yes, poor Jane. We'll be saying.
I wouldn't
"Stop
say
putting-
poor Jane, really. It's like,
Stop putting it in close-up.
Yes.
Gemma, I had to rush
Bit-
this together at high speed. But that is rushed together at high speed. You can take your time over it.
yeah, I mean, I cut that out yesterday and started making it and finished it off this morning.
You did.
So, you know, it
Along
doesn't,
with throwing a quilt block
Yes.
together and
It
doing
doesn't
customer
take-
services and
yeah, it doesn't take a long time. It's just work methodically is my biggest
Yes.
tip to you, just to start with. But that's going to be a lovely gift for somebody, isn't it?
absolutely lovely. This particular panel, again, we only have what we have, and it's not a huge amount. Those should be $14.99. Those panels, I have put an introductory price on them for today only of $12.99. And Natasha doesn't know about that either. I'll worry about it later, but enjoy. You know, this is a brilliant thing to have, like Jane says, to gift or to make and then gift.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
And it's
What-
going to be the sort of thing that will come out year after
Oh,
year.
for
I can see
sure.
it.
What I also couldn't resist, however, was there is beautiful fabric that goes with the panel. Now, I've put this up by the half metre, but I've also created some half metre heavens, which are already live. So I'm going to let Jane show you those. Then we'll show you the half metre heavens that go live at midnight. Just bear in mind these are already there, okay? Because they match the panel. Same range.
Same collection.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Then we'll show you these. Then we'll crack on with demo.
Yes.
And then we'll go and lie in a darkened room.
Yes.
Because I tell
We
you,
definitely need cake this afternoon.
packed
Yes.
today. I know, we had a scone with clotted cream and jam yesterday. Seriously.
It was so
Dear
strange.
me.
I'd been fantasising about having just, you know, sometimes you think, oh, I could just eat. And yesterday morning I was like, oh, I'd love a cup of coffee with a jam and cream scone. I don't know where it came from, but it
Looking at
did.
us, wasn't it?
And then we went to the cafe and Jane had made some and they were delicious.
You should have seen our Jane's face. It's
I was
just
like,
the
I'd
look of-
wished them up,
Yeah.
conjured them up.
So the face.
It's taking my witchiness even
the
further.
face of wonder there. I know what made her do that. It's not as if it's a wintry sort of product,
No.
and she's going into a more wintry menu.
Oh,
now.
we've got some beautiful soups, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely gorgeous soups. Anyway, we're talking about food again, and it's 10:35. Probably don't need to do that.
What's
again.
this called? Joyful, Joyful, O Little Town,
Yes.
Midnight.
So Joyful Joyful's the collection, and that's the same collection the panel comes from, but this is O Little Town in Midnight.
And we have put it with moss.
We have, because it's just right. That's what
And
it is.
Gemma has put it with Buttercup as well,
Yes.
which really pops. There's a little tiny little bit on the camels and some of the shepherds and the kings, and it really lifts it. So you could have it in either or you could have both, because look at that together.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
It looks stunning.
Absolutely stunning.
And again, lovely cushions for Christmas, placemats, table runner for the middle of your table, napkins. This fabric is the sort of fabric you can make things for Christmas, your Christmas table, and it would come out year after year.
It's lovely, and even, you know, a nice gift bag or whatever.
Yeah,
These
I could
are-
see these in the cracker kits as well, making crackers with them.
Exactly, it's a small enough print that you can make those small makes, because quite a few of the Christmassy fabrics we have come in a bigger print.
Yes.
But this one, there's 4x2 as well, 2x4. We always do this, don't we? We design the patterns and we come up with the names, and yet we're the ones
Both
that can never
remember them. No.
4 from 2 fat quarter
To
gift
gift bags.
That big
Perfect
badger, that
for those.
there.
Yeah, perfect for
Absolutely.
those.
However, we also have going live at midnight tonight. Oh no, Jane!
We're not showing those.
No,
Oh.
we will. But SJ's going to tell us off, so I wanted to wait until long enough in the show that she's not going to notice.
Right.
Because she'll be busy doing other things. Let's do the half metre heavens first.
Let's do these.
Let's do that.
This is a
Gonna get me into trouble.
it's a 60 centimetre panel, isn't it?
Lovely.
Well, it's fabric. It's got a border print on it.
Yes.
It's Michael Miller.
It's from a
Make-
collection called Colour Forms, and they did a colour version,
Yes.
and they did this amazing grayscale one.
Yes.
It's lovely.
It's beautiful. And that we have put with school grey, is that? Or is it dark grey?
Why don't
Dark
I-
grey.
Oh, it's not elephant.
No.
Because there is an elephant. Dark grey.
Dark grey really picks up the darks in that. We have also put it with gold.
Sorry. Gold!
Gold. So you get the border, it's 64 because it's the repeat is 64 inches, so you get the full repeat. So it's a slightly larger piece, but you can either have it with gold or with the dark grey, and
Lovely.
or buy both,
Well, yes, let's not limit you here.
because
We're
they
not-
look
you know,
stunning
we're
together.
Not judging, are we, Jane?
Absolutely not.
We never would.
So those are the two which are slightly special because they've got a slightly bigger piece of fabric with them. Then we've
So
got
we don't spoil you, everybody.
a beautiful bit of Cave Collective Paisley Jungle in rust. Rust it is. Rust.
Lovely.
Look at that, it's beautiful, the colours in that. And then we've put that again, is it with sage this time? Because that picks up all those beautiful greens within there. Just such
I
dual colours.
Adore a paisley, but the green in this was a bit of a hero for me, so that is the only choice, as I
Yes.
see it. Others will disagree. If you're a purple fan, there are purples that will look absolutely divine with this, and you can mix and match from your own stash.
Yeah.
But for me, that was the
Our
hero of the
magenta would
piece.
look stunning with it as well.
Yeah,
It would
it
pick
would.
up but the green just makes all the other colours pop.
And your bundle for this month, you know, you're going to have plenty in that fat quarter bundle that would look beautiful with that paisley jungle fabric.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if we put the subscription bundle next to that, look at that,
There's plenty in there that would
make
play
it pop.
very nicely with
Make
it.
it pop, absolutely. So that's that one. We've then got Paisley Jungle in contrast, and the difference in just the coloured
Oh, look
ways
at
of
that.
this is amazing. You would never think when you put those together that they are the same print.
It's the same print. It's insane, isn't it?
It's lovely. It's just how Cave works with his colours, and we've popped this with marine because it really pops these blues in here. and actually pops the yellows at the same time, which is wonderful how colour works against each other. The yellow obviously being opposite on the colour wheel. So it just really makes that sing, I think.
Beautiful. And this would make the most stunning bag. And imagine
Absolutely.
that as the lining, just as you open the bag, that blue popping out.
Oh, yes.
Especially if you create your lining in such a way that it gives that faux binding effect around the top, so you've just got that say, quarter
little
of an
bit
inch
of a pop of
the
it.
top, which we've demonstrated so many times.
Now this is Tilda. Now this is some of the new collection, isn't it? The newish, and it's been very popular. So there isn't very much left of it. And this we've put with duck egg because that just works so beautifully with the blue that's within that, against that terracotta colour. And that is Tilda's Eden. Eden, that one is called.
Brilliant.
So we've got that one, but we've also put some of the teal colourway in Eleanor.
It's Eleonora.
Eleonora, sorry, I wasn't reading it right.
Because it always makes me think of Wizardora.
Yes.
Remember that programme?
I do.
Wizardora.
And that's with duck egg as well. So you've got the two fabrics, both of them with duck egg, but look how they play nicely together.
Really beautifully.
It's gorgeous.
And
this is the lovely of Tilda, that all her colourways actually blend beautifully because you've got the same duck eggy blue. There's that little bit of pink spot in there that matches the pink in here, and the beautiful gold colour there that's in the middle of those flowers. So it all blends, it all works together.
There is a softness and an elegance to Tilda's colour palette.
Absolutely.
I just don't think anyone else matches.
No, you can. It's a bit like William Morris, isn't it? You can recognise Tilda straight away by her colour palette.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just very quickly, Chris has asked the characters on the house, etc.
Yes.
Are they appliqued on?
No, they're like
all part of the panel.
Yes, it's all printed on the panel. So this part of this is all printed. This bit here is all printed. Look, there's even a label on the bottom of here so you can put who it belongs to. So you can do that on your embroidery machine, or you could just write it with a fabric marker.
Yes, we have got permanent fabric markers in brown and black actually. The reason we do them in those colours is, you can do eyes.
Yes.
You can't get blue ones, but you can use them if you're making your Tilda toys, and they're permanent. So that would be perfect for this.
It would, absolutely. This is all printed on.
You use one for when you're writing on the back of the quilts, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Don't get a chance to do a label. On the back of every one of Jane's makes, it'll say created by Jane Alcock for Natasha Makes, and then the date.
Yes. It's also a good reference as well to look back on and say, when was it made?
Yeah. Yeah. So that we know what the quilt
so we don't forget.
Is. Anyway,
back to
heavens.
Tilda.
Back to it.
Yeah, so this is another one. This is teal as well, and this is with cream. So again, you could put both of these with that. The teal in there is the same colour. It's the same dye lot, I would say. So, it's all going to blend beautifully. And of course, the duck egg doesn't look terrible with it either. So it's very nice.
Very nice. I absolutely love these neighbourhood fabrics with the houses on.
Yes.
They're just gorgeous.
I wanted to make a quilt with a house block with this fabric, but it all went.
What I wanted to do, Jane, was, in fact, it was Natasha's pattern. I wanted to do the little girl's pillowcase dress. Sorry, you've just folded that and I'm not. I wanted to do the pillowcase dress in this, and I wanted to do a little panel at the bottom of the houses.
Oh yes, how pretty.
That would just look fabulous, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just?
Really cute.
Yeah.
If you've not made a dress before, it literally is a pillowcase style with a section at the top to put in some elastic or some ribbon. And it's as easy as anything. It's easy as anything, and you can create something really beautiful. So that pattern is definitely worth adding to your collection if you do not already have it.
And the beauty of it is it can be a dress for when they're like 2-3 years old.
Yes.
And then as they get bigger, it becomes like a tunic top, which they wear with leggings, which Miss Emily does and looks absolutely fabulous
Emily
in them.
has a huge repertoire of these.
Oh, she does. And she looks stunning in them all. This is a bit of Ruby Star Society. Look at this. I love this fabric. It's so decadent. Is it Rain?
Yes, this is Eminence from the Rain collection by Rashida. Is it Coleman Hale?
Looks like it is. Coleman Hale, you are good.
I tell you, it's almost like I load all the stock.
Yes, you know what you're talking about. Now then,
I think I chanted
this
on my
is
seat.
with, I never know whether it's raspberry or magenta, and this is raspberry.
That
Look
is,
at that. And it matches those flowers in there, just makes those pop, but also just lifts this metallic that's in here.
Yeah, I don't think everyone appreciates that there is this metallic in here, and it's very fine details in the leaves as well.
Yeah.
And then these tiny flowers here, the little dots in the centre of the yellow as well. But it's an elegant, tiny little nod. You've got little tiny dots here, little tiny dots, and at this end of the stamens.
It's a very
Clever.
subtle point of metallic.
Yes.
And it just gives it a lovely, rich, decadent feel to it. And with that would make a beautiful bag with that as a lining.
Lovely. Oh, cute and
this.
autumnal. Here we are. Look at these.
These little mice. This is called Autumn
Fields Read Loved is the collection.
Yes.
And these are, I think they're little mice with berries.
Yes, they are.
I think that's
They're
literally
gorgeous,
what the
they're
fabric's
called.
called.
And
Yeah.
that's with
That was paprika.
paprika. And that just lifts the leaves on that.
However, there is another colourway, and this time it has gone with hot tomato. So you can see the subtle difference between those two, but how beautifully those four blend together.
Again, lovely for soft furnishings, table decorations,
Or
nice little
buy
bags.
both bundles, you've
Yeah.
got a quilt. A
Absolutely.
little bit of plain here and there, you've got a quilt. Lovely. There we go.
That's those
I've only
two.
got one of these, Jane. Just
Uh-oh.
the one, Mrs. Wembley. Do we remember that? Just the one, Mrs. Wembley? Gosh, that's going back a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
With corn yellow.
That's Sanderson,
It is.
Chelsea. This is the bright colourway, and we've put that with corn yellow. Yeah.
As Inga would say, grab that one quick or you've had your chance.
Just a few. Again, we've been having that little bit of a sort out, haven't we? And
We
found
have.
these tucked away in a corner.
We've also found this, which probably was meant to be for Natasha because it's her favourite signature colours. It's Stapleton Park in teal. Absolutely beautiful. Got it upside down, I have. I mean, not that it's very
No,
noticeable.
it's not
'cause
that
it's just
noticeable.
The most fabulous tumbling floral, but it should go that way up. Look at that with it. I think that's our pomegranate you saying earlier about the
Yeah.
raspberry. So you can see raspberry is more muted and the pomegranate's just got more vibrancy to it.
But again, they
Just
just
one of
work beautifully together, those two.
From the same collection, again Sanderson, we have Adele in Cobalt. There we are. Adele in Cobalt, also upside down. You'd think I'd learn. Eh? And that one has gone with fuchsia, but could just as easily have gone with our pomegranate as well. So you see those last three would look lovely together. There's only one of each. Grab them quick or you've had your chance.
Yeah, you'd make a
I
lovely
don't
quilt
know.
with those three. It'd be beautiful.
Do not have spendthrift's remorse. It's way worse than buyer's remorse. I speak from personal experience. It's no fun at all. There we are. Look at those.
They
And
look lovely
finally,
together.
but definitely, not lastly, look
I
at
love
that.
this colour.
This is our hellebores. Now, this is from the latest Kay Facet Collective collection. It's Philip Jacobs' design. Kaif's worked his absolute magic with the colour. Look at that. And this blue, do you know, we've put it with several blues and they all look stunning, Jane.
Yes.
This one is peacock. Thought so. Didn't want to say it wrong. You know.
You know, and I just want to point out how beautifully that goes with the purples collection too.
Oh,
Just rather stunning.
just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. You made that their office child perk her ears up, Jane, and now I'm going to get in huge trouble. But she's not here. She should have come into the office so she could rugby tackle me and stop me showing you what I'm going to show next. Friday deals. If you don't get your Friday deals newsletter, please speak to SJ. You know, email us in at info@natashamakes.com and make sure you
Check your spam folders as well. We've had a lot of people saying that their newsletters are going into their spam folders. It is because you haven't said that it's an acceptable address or added it to your address book. So just add info@natashamakes to your address book and they'll always come to your inbox.
I'm not so sure as the Friday one doesn't come from marketing at. I'm going to speak to SJ about that after the show. But we need to just make sure everyone's getting their Friday newsletters, and this is just one of the reasons why. We do have exclusive buys that go into there, and we have deals as well. So it may be something that is a special buy that's specifically for those of you who follow the newsletter. It may be something that we've got not much left of, or we're putting a silly deal on.
Yes.
And we do really go crazy with these Friday deals at times. This particular panel, earlier this year we had a beautiful panel by Holly Taylor for Moda in the Wild Iris collection, and Natasha made a pocketed organiser that could go on the wall, or that you could turn into, say, pocketed apron. I think lots of people will remember that demo. It's in lovely purpley tones. Beautiful.
Yes, it was a lovely fabric.
I can't show you those items because one's been gifted to Vicky for her to put her seeds in. The other one's been gifted to Natasha's other friend who's a gardener. We don't have the samples anymore, but those panels flew out. We spoke to Moda, we couldn't get any more. Everyone was upset. No one was very pleased with us. We can't help it. Sometimes things are that popular.
Yeah.
This panel is the same size. It has a similar feel in that you've got sections that could be pockets, but they could be quilt blocks. They could be all sorts of things. You can do lots with this. I'm tempted to say, Jane,
do you want to go overhead and show it?
These could go onto placemats.
I was just looking
runners.
at these placemats, table centres. Absolutely beautiful.
And we have two absolutely gorgeous fabrics to go with. This here, this texture, and this. These are not on the website at the moment. The reason I'm showing you them today is I just feel if you just see them in a picture on the Friday newsletter, you won't get a full appreciation of what they look like. So you're seeing them now. Friday's the time to start looking for these. They are absolutely gorgeous. The collection is called Winter Flurries. It is again by Holly Taylor, who did that other one that was so popular. This is a 24-inch panel, and then there's 2.5 meters of fabric to go with. Keep your eyes peeled. You're getting double width, of course. So.
If you make Christmas cards, you could cut those panels and embellish them and stick them to the front of a card.
You could do all sorts.
They are beautiful.
Amazing fabric tags as well. Beautiful big fabric tags. And I like to do quite often very simple sacks made out of calico or whatever. To have a big tag made from that with the name embroidered on the back.
That would be
Just
lovely. Yeah,
lovely.
absolutely.
So much can be done with those, but they are SJ's baby, and so I'll go and get told off now. Everyone's been having food because they've heard us talk about food, Jane.
Yes.
Buttered toast, crumpets, the lot.
Oh, proper comfort food.
I know. There's talk of blueberry muffins in the afternoon from Martin. There's all sorts going on.
I love blueberry muffins.
Jane often quotes just the one Mrs. Wembley, but sadly it's usually met with blank looks.
Yes.
I get the reference, it's all fine. However, we need to learn how to do this, Jane.
Yes, we do.
Crack
we
on.
do. We've chosen some fabrics, haven't we,
We
that
have.
sort of looked nice with the purple. And I didn't know
have.
if you wanted to bring those to Lewis and Irene, because we've got
They sold out in milliseconds, these.
our caves. I mean, the caves just go beautifully. We've chosen the purple selection of the Tildas. They look absolutely stunning with these, with this bundle. Look at that.
Just gorgeous, Jane.
So that's the new collection of the Tildas. As you can see, there's not much left on any of the bolts, really. All the Cafe uses purples and pink tones quite a lot in his fabrics. We've got some Anna Marie Horner as well there, haven't we?
We have.
But we had some restock, and this was a very popular collection from Lewis and Irene, wasn't it?
It's not very often when something sells out that we can get it back again. This is Reflections by Lewis and Irene, and it sold out like that. When Ben was here the other week, our lovely Lewis and Irene rep, Natasha and I went and got in the back of his van.
We're always rooting in the back of
Ben's
Ben's van.
Chap. We love to go and both get in the back of his van and have a good rootle. And we landed on one bolt of these.
Yeah.
And went, those are ours. Those are ours. Our viewers went crazy for them. Again, there was a lot of upset. We hate it when this happens. For whatever reason, he had one bolt of each in his van. And we have hoiked them out. They were hidden under other things as well, in amongst a box. And
right, yeah.
I
spied them.
I said, Natasha, you'll never guess what I've just found. So we were very excited. But we have them here. Like I say, they were sellouts.
Look at those with our fat quarters. They have got all the colours in. They just look stunning, don't they?
They do. They are absolute beauties. What can we say?
And we've got these cut to order.
We have.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are in the collection today. Grab them quick. They were bought for Half Me to Heaven purposes. However, Jane did that thing where she said, "Oh, Gemma, I really want them on my show." And I said, "Just don't tell Natasha." Do you know if she's watching? I'm in so much trouble today. I'm in so much
You're all going to be. It's like,
and
look.
half of it's your fault.
I know. I'm sorry. Not.
Jane,
Not sorry. Not sorry.
you're the office goody two shoes because you never do anything naughty ever. But then you get me to do things.
Yes,
and
well,
I get into trouble for it.
You see, that's how goody two shoes
I'm
people
going to
work.
stick to Kate because I'm fairly confident this is not an unusual concept.
So
Let's switch the iron on, Jane.
that's a nice
What's it
idea.
with you?
Thank you. Yes, it will come in handy.
Don't mind me, everyone.
There we go. I'll show you the blocks.
Yes. Let's go overhead and have a look.
So, as I said, it is such a straightforward pattern that anybody could do this, I think. It really is beginner level and you can have really good fun. Now, I kept my blocks all the same, but you could really mix it up if you wanted to and have it really random. You could add a patterned fabric in and make a third block and then mix that in. You can really have fun with this pattern. It is so straightforward and you will be able to create all sorts of patterns with it. So we've got the 8 fabrics, 8 different purples in here. So I've made so many blocks of that colourway and so many blocks of that colourway. As I say, you can mix it up and make it your own. I'll just show you the basics and then you can decide how you want that then to look. It's very straightforward. As I said, I took long quarters and cut width of fabric strips, 2.5 inches. So again, this is a pattern that you could use with your jelly rolls. Get some background fabric and mix it up with your jelly rolls that you've got, you know, that you've had sitting on your shelf just that you look at and stroke occasionally because it's too pretty to open. We've all got them.
We're all guilty of that, Jane.
So I cut, from my long quarters, I cut 2 of each strip. Now, a long quarter you can get 4 if you're really careful with your cutting, but you could definitely get 3. So you could make this quilt bigger. You would need to order more background fabric, but it's straightforward. We do it by the 1/2 metre, so it's easy to add more to your stash. 2.5 inch wide strips, so if you've got a stripology ruler, you'll whiz through that. It'll take you no time at all. So you've got your strips and then you pair them up, one of your colours with one of your background strips. Sew them together along the long edge, and then I've pressed the seam towards the coloured fabric just because that's darker and I don't want it showing against the light.
Top tip, Jane.
You're then going to cut them up. Start off by trimming off your selvage end, just so that you've got a straight line to work with. I always line up my ruler along my seam line. Inga's just found something.
Yes, Inga, we made another one, didn't we? Oh, you're a top bird. Well done, you.
Along the seam lines, because that's a straight edge. Sometimes these edges can be a little bit wobbly. So got a straight edge there, and then I will turn that around and I will cut it into 4.5 inch sections. You'll get 9 from a long width. So if you've got the fat quarter subscription and you're thinking, well, how can I do it with that? You'll just cut double the amount of strips. Now, the only thing is, from a width of a fat quarter, you will only get 8 squares from your width. So you may need to cut an extra strip. So like I've said, cut 2. So you would cut 4 from your fat quarters, but then cut a 5th one to get the right amount of squares from that.
Makes sense, Jane.
Sometimes when you cut your 4.5, you'll find that it's gone a little bit wobbly. I think that happens with the seam allowance and the ruler. So you just turn it around and you just trim it off to square it.
Fair enough.
So you will have all of these squares, all of these units that you can then mix and match to create your blocks. As I said, I have kept mine all the same. So you're going to have all these blocks, and it is simply a case of deciding which ones you want to pair up. If you want to keep your blocks all the same, you might decide that you're going to just put them all in a heap and you're just going to randomly pick each one and make it completely random and work with the colour that just comes next. which will give you a lovely effect. You take one of those blocks and you turn it around so that you've got your plain, your background fabric against your colour, and the opposite way. And again, because you've pressed your seam towards the coloured fabric, you're going to be able to nest that as you join it. You're going to have your seams nesting together, and that will give you a nice crisp join. So 1/4 inch seam.
Jane, you know how much I hate regrets. I
Yes.
really don't like it when our viewers are sad.
Oh, we can't have sad viewers.
I have just put the 12 Days of Christmas back up. So if you missed out, let's give you an opportunity to order yours today. I've had messages, you see.
Yes.
I can't bear it. And then we will sort that out. We'll get it done.
That's lovely.
We
That's
It's
nice.
fine. I say fine. Natasha might not say fine. Do you know what? She's a soft touch as well, though, isn't she?
She doesn't like to disappoint our
No.
customers,
And
and
with the
she's
advent
always wants to.
calendars, we really unfortunately couldn't do more on the advent calendars because we purchased for those 12 months in advance. But with these, I know what we're doing, and there are ways and means. I can't keep going with them forever, so if you do want one, get your name down now, and then we can make sure we've got exactly what we need to fulfil everybody's.
So you'll make all of these into pairs, and as I say, if you want to keep the blocks the same, which is what I've done, you can do that, but you're going to have all these pairs. Then you then take 2 pairs and you sew them together along that long edge, because you've basically made a rectangle. So you're now going to sew those 2 rectangles together to make them into a square.
Brilliant.
And again, you can adjust your seams, and you might want to wait until you've made them to adjust your seam. So I would press that one that way now, so that one goes against there, just so that they nestle, and it gives you a nice crisp join where they meet. This is a definite weekend make, and if you've already got pre-cut strips, you'd have this quilt top made in a day, I think, because it comes together so quickly.
Do you know, and sometimes that's just what you need to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
just want to get
sometimes
something made.
You just want a quick make, something just to, satisfy your need to sew. Because sometimes you just feel like you need to sew something, don't you? I think you just want to
You do.
want to make something. So you'll have all your blocks, as I say, like so, this way and that way. And then it's a case of taking one of the other blocks. You're going to sew these blocks into pairs, but you just rotate the one block so it goes like so. It's just straightforward. It's not complicated. All your blocks are going to look the same to start with. It's just a case of turning the one round and then sewing them together in pairs. And again, you can adjust your seam. So if I press this seam that way now, just do that finger pressing thing, that seam there and that seam there are going to interlock, and again you'll get that nice crisp join.
I do love the difference just swapping the orientation round can make with all sorts of quilt blocks, actually, Jane. You
Yeah.
There's quite a bit where you'll make the same block, rotate one, piece them, and
It creates something completely different. It is amazing how it can work.
It's brilliant.
And it's one of the things that I quite like about patchwork is the fact that it's a bit like a musical notes. I think there's only sort of 7 notes, basic notes. And it's a bit like that with patchwork, isn't it? Squares and triangles, rectangles, and you create so many different varieties. So you're going to get all these pairs, and then just turn that one around, just trying to keep them all the same. And then you will sew all of your blocks into pairs, keeping them in the same orientation. But again, if you want to have a little play with them and see what happens if you don't, if you mix it up again and see what patterns you create. So you've got these pairs. And then you're going to sew your pairs together. Now, mine's made up of 3, each row is made up of 3 pairs. So you put 3 pairs together in a row.
I've just got to see the finished quilt so you can show. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
3 pairs in a
Another
row.
one from underneath the desk, Jane.
Yes. Some I prepared earlier. So I'm just going to sew those together. So I sewed them together into pairs and then I sewed the last one onto the end.
This is another classic example of where people say, well, I can't quilt. I can't make quilt tops. I can't do it. If you can sew straight lines,
Absolutely.
and sew a consistent 1/4 inch seam, you're good to go on this one, aren't you?
Yeah. And if you've got a machine or a 1/4 inch foot on your machine, it makes life even simpler for you.
Yes, it does.
And Natasha's got the little metal gadget, hasn't she?
Oh, the seam guide.
The seam guide, which helps as well. So we can just sew that 3rd pair onto there.
You're like a ninja today, Jane.
Oh, I'm
trying to keep
sorry.
up with you with these
Well,
camera
this just shows how quickly this comes together. It really does.
angles.
And of course, you know, you can chain piece. Okay. So you'll have your rows like this, and you'll have all of your rows will be exactly the same. All look exactly the same, like so. And then you're going to join your rows together. And what you do is you sew your rows together in pairs.
Okay.
But you take the 2nd row and you just turn it around.
Ah, look at that. So that you've got your verticals after you've got your horizontals.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Nice. And then it alternates the colour.
And then you'll make 3 pairs and you throw your pairs together.
Wow.
So it really is a very quick block. It gives you this stepped effect. You can have fun with these blocks, with these units that make the, you know, these units can be made into anything. You can change them around like so.
Oh, there's loads you can do with these.
You can make all sorts of different blocks. You've got that pattern there going on.
Well, that's
Let's make a woven pattern. You can just keep them all like this.
alternate your colours around. Can you?
Or, you know, alternate your colours. That's the block I've just made.
Yeah.
But then you can turn these and have the colours on the inside.
I mean, you could make one block that was all these, like
Yeah.
all the same colour, and then the next block exactly the same, but with all this colour, and then
Yeah, you'd
so on
get
and so forth.
you'd
That
get
would be
different
really
you'd get
lovely.
different effects. You know, just mix. You can mix them up, going around. You get a little bit of that pinwheely effect
Yes,
on there,
here
but
and
because
there.
the other fabrics are, that's what draws your eye, I think, to that pattern.
Oh, let's look at the quilt behind us.
You know, if we put that one on there, that gives you a different
Actually, no,
effect.
that's a good point. That's lovely, putting those two like that.
Yeah, light and dark.
Really lovely.
You can have really good fun.
You can. And devilishly simplistic.
Absolutely.
Which we like, Jane.
And quick.
We like
Quick.
and
We
simple.
love
We
quick.
Do. We do.
Yeah.
Inga has shenanigated and found that we've
Oh,
got an
we
extra
did make
one of these.
another one, didn't
We
we?
made one for Inga. Of
Yes.
course we did. This here. So this was the Wild Iris panel that I mentioned before, and Natasha made a pattern showing you how to take one of these and make pockets. Now, those are different shape and what have you, but you know,
Principles the
premise
same.
there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we did get a question about what size these squares are. So we will have a little look at that, or rectangles I should say are. Quick look. So it depends where we're measuring really, doesn't it? Because you
That
can cut
outside
to
edge,
allow
yeah.
that extra bit there. If we're measuring
If you measure
those-
from there to there, it's 6 inches,
Yes.
and it's 5 inches wide from there to there.
7 inches.
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah,
seven.
7. And then 5 that
And-
way.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
there
so
to
these
there.
are 7 by 5, so that's like a photograph or a postcard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, they really are that postcard size. And you know, I've seen people make fabric postcards, and again, that's a gorgeous thing.
Yeah.
Really lovely. And they just back it with some calico and pop something in
Yeah.
between.
You could
Really
make
nice.
you could make a placemat size
Oh,
piece.
Yes.
you could poke one of these pockets on the side of it, make it into a pocket, and stick your Christmas cutlery in
Oh,
there.
that'd be so lovely. But just to reiterate, these will go live on Friday with the Friday newsletter.
That's a bit
But
bulky,
Esther
but you get
likes
the idea.
everything to be, you know, top secret and all that. Whoops! Should have been here to stop me. So that is just one of Friday's deals. Jane, have you anything else to declare, my love?
I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a
I tell
whirlwind show, hasn't it?
I have no idea how we've crammed all that into an hour and 10.
But
Shall
that
we see
is-
if everyone's still here or if they've all passed out with all the offers and things that have
Yeah.
gone on. Let's have a look. We have got some debate over this Mrs. Wembley. Ginny Mackie says, I do not know this Mrs. Wembley awaiting enlightenment. Just Google. It's just the one Mrs. Wembley, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it'll come up with some comedy from probably the 70s.
It probably is. It probably isn't very PC either, but there you
No?
go.
No, but my mum always said it as I was growing up, so I didn't watch the programme. But my dad would say, do you want a sherry? And she'd go, oh, just the one, Mrs. Wembley.
Yeah.
It's a colloquialism that's
It
carried down.
keeps
from-
on. It's one of those phases,
Historic.
isn't it? That you, but
Yeah, and it's like Only Fools, isn't it? You've
Yes.
got the silly little
yeah,
things that you say.
yeah.
Play it cool, treat,
Monge
play
two,
it cool.
yeah.
Monge two,
Monge two, Rodney. Monge two.
If anyone watched Bake Off last night, again.
That's funny.
People trying to say Monge two.
Didn't know what it was.
Wasn't great. It
Was
wasn't
funny.
great. We've told you what size those individual images are, so that's fine. Oh, Sylv says we're both looking lovely this morning.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sylv. Thank you.
Helen has sent us 200 stars. Thank you so much.
That's
It's so
lovely. That's kind. Thank you.
Elizabeth Krangle says 8 notes called an octave, Jane.
There we go. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Oh, and Karen says this is like knitting, only there's like knit, purl, stitches, and that's it, but the patterns that can be created.
Yeah, absolutely.
amazing.
Yes, crazy.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's just about having those building blocks and knowing what to do with them.
Yes.
And I was talking to one of our viewers last night who said, I can't believe how much I've learned from Jane's shows. She said, I just learned so much and I'm so grateful to her and you must help her.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you. Thank you
I said,
very much.
Well, I will. Because
I just love doing it and I love sharing
Doesn't
it,
hurt
so
to
it's
hear it,
nice.
Doesn't hurt to hear
Yeah.
it. Joan Sims, she played Mrs. Wembley, says Rosina.
Oh,
Till.
I love Joan
Joan
Sims.
Sims.
She was
She
amazing.
was fabulous. She was.
Yes.
That's our show for today.
Yeah.
Crikey Bobs. Hopefully, the next time we have a live show, I will have a much clearer voice.
Yes. We'll have a proper microphone.
In the interim, apologies. Some of you may be enjoying the relative peace. I can't blame you. We did purposely make sure that Jane had the big mic and I had the quiet mic,
Yes.
because some of you might quite like the fact that I can't be heard quite so well.
Well, I have a quieter voice, don't I? Doesn't matter how hard I try to raise it, it is lower toned.
Well,
So it comes
Natasha
out quieter.
just called me the Brian Blessed of the crafting world, which I did point out. Well,
It's a bit
my
pot calling
mum-
kettle, isn't it, really?
My mum was in this week packing the advents and she said, well, that's a bit pots and kettles, isn't
Yes.
it?
Natasha,
Yes,
who
it
wants to
is.
be a town crier.
She'd love to be a town crier. She'd wear the boots and the red coats.
She'd
and a
look
sheep and a
magnificent.
hat.
She would look
Oh,
amazing.
I'd look like a Teletubby, but she'd look amazing if she was a town crier. She really would. I'm just going to check over on YouTube that everyone's happy. I think we're all good. It's been lovely to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you check out and get these deals. I've noticed, I mean, even I haven't checked in the last few minutes even, but, you know, these we went down to half stock really fast. Same with the Promenade quilt kits. Those are flying out at a rate of knots. So
Wow.
please do make the most of those bundles. This one here, just to reiterate, the panel, that is a Friday deal. So keep your eyes peeled on Friday. The half metre heavens go live at midnight tonight, apart from the ones that match said very cute make panel. And Philly Boots, enjoy. The 12 Days of Christmas I have re-enlivened. We can't leave that open for a long time because we need to close it off, get our quantities together, make those up and get them ready to go out. But thank you so much, as always, for your support. I'm being told I need to get a Madonna mic. Oh, I want the bra as well.
You look amazing in that bra.
Vicky says, it's worked well today, Gemma, with this setup. You're slightly quiet, but we can hear you clearly.
Good.
And Martin says, thank you for another entertaining live stream.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. And we will see you very soon. Lots of love.
Bye bye.
Take care and bye-bye.